Breaking right now, Princess Diana's bitter and twisted brother Charles Spencer has yet again taken his sister's name in vain by claiming that she would be completely proud of Prince Harry.
Today, we dive into a royal controversy that's sending shockwaves across the globe. Renowned royal biographer Angela Levin has made a claim that could shake the very foundations of the British monarchy.
And his deranged campaign against the British media, seeming to completely forget that actually it was Princess Diana who had probably the closest relationship with the British media of any royal in history. But here's what Charles Spencer had to say. It takes an enormous amount of guts to take on opponents like news group newspapers and great tenacity to win. And it's just wonderful that Harry fought for and gained an apology to his mother. She would have been incredibly touched at that and rightly proud. Now, Angela Levin, I completely disagree with that sentiment. Firstly, Harry didn't win. I've been calling him the Pussy Prince this week because he was the one that wanted this settlement, having previously said that he was the Dragon Slayer. Well, hell no, the Dragon Slayer ended up being the Frog Prince. But what do you make of Charles Spencer saying that Diana would have been so proud of Harry? Because to me, that is such a slight against Prince William, because of course Harry was so critical of the deal that William did with Rupert Murdoch and News UK. Even though, by the way, I think William did completely the right thing. He did it privately and then he donated all of the money to charity, something we haven't seen from Harry.
We haven't heard anything about that yet,
No,
have we?
because it's not going to happen. I mean, look, I'd be delighted if it would happen, but they need the money. He's got to pay all of the legal fees, and then he's got to keep Meghan happy. So I don't think any of the money will be going to charity personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But what do you make of Charles Spencer invoking Diana here and saying she would have been so proud?
I think it was a dreadful thing to do, and actually completely wrong, because they were so different. He is quite hard and harsh, and he's had a lot of family trouble. But if you look at his family going back, all of the fathers were very aggressive towards their wives. He's now on his going to be his fourth wife, and each one he's been rather unpleasant about leaving that wife. And I don't think he's got a sort of deep passion and a understanding of what women are really like. I'm sorry to say that. I have interviewed him a few times, and that was my decision about him.
She suggests Meghan Markle may not have physically given birth to Archie and Lilibeth. What does this mean for the royal line of succession? Why is the palace silent? And how did we get here? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear is nothing short of explosive.
But I think, you see, Diana treated her children that they should care. It was very important to care about people and not to think about themselves, and that money didn't matter very much. What did matter was to look after people. And Diana, when they went at Christmas to big shops, she wouldn't let them go to the front to meet Santa Claus. They had to stand in a queue for a long time, like everybody else. And the owners of these stores would say, please, please, no, they've got to learn. It's not about money. It's not about going there. She wouldn't let them take presents. But no, they don't have that. And she obviously took them to people who were homeless, and that stayed with William ever since, hasn't it? And she wanted people to care about people. And I think that's what she was important for her, not having loads of money. And the whole point is that Harry's got massive, he's used to having loads and loads of money. And so it's not a great win for him. And Meghan, who hasn't been brought up with loads and loads of money, but has had it once she's got Harry, that's very important to her. The more she has, the better she feels about it. But for Harry, it doesn't mean very much, because in the end, he could go and ask his father desperately that he needs it. So he knows there's always something there for him. And I think that um, Diana's brother is completely wrong about his approach. I think he's very unhappy and doesn't feel that he wants that money really, but he has to take it because he's got no option. But the problem is that I think he wants to be a superstar himself to come near to Meghan, which will be jolly difficult. And he thought that if he could help the people, he said it a lot about the 39 people who are still, around, really. They've been paid, but he feels that he's got to protect them and he's got to look after them. And that's why he's got to get a lot of money to make sure that they're all right. They don't need him. They don't want him. He's not necessary in their life. It's as if he's in the wrong place. If they hadn't wanted it, they didn't have to take it. But I think he wanted to be proud that he could do that for them. So all his last 6 years that he's been trying to sort out, to get this sorted by the son, he's pretending, or he thinks in his mind, that he wants to make sure that these people are okay. They've got to be calmed down. The reason they took the money was because they had no choice. Well, how does he know that? Did he speak to the 39 people about that? Of course he didn't. So he was trying to place him as a hero, himself as a hero, and to get so much money that somehow they would think that he'd looked after them as well. I think it's a very, very sad reason why he kept saying no and kept going on. I think he wanted some sort of, I have done this.
Angela Levin, a veteran royal commentator, has claimed on record that if Meghan Markle used a surrogate, Archie and Lilibet may not legally be in line to the throne. According to royal succession laws, only children born naturally to royal blood are eligible. No surrogates, no exceptions.
Of course he did. Of course he did. But Angela, money talks, and he's all about the money. That's all he is now. That's all he cares about. Maybe that's Meghan's fault, because Harry certainly didn't used to be like that. He didn't care about the money before he was with Meghan. Can I also just make one quick point about Charles Spencer and his relationship with Princess Diana? A lot of people forget that in the months before her death, they had actually fallen out altogether because Charles Spencer refused her the home that she desperately wanted on the family estate. So that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is what Charles Spencer and Prince Harry maybe need to listen to, and certainly Meghan Markle, is Prince William's wish, which is that people stop invoking the memory of Princess Diana, stop saying, oh, this is what she would have been proud of, this is what she would have wanted, and let her rest in peace, because it sometimes feels like that's the only thing Harry's got, and certainly Charles Spencer has got, to be able to invoke Diana, which is particularly grim in my view. But you do think that there's been a big change to Harry, and you can, because obviously you know Harry, you spend a lot of time with him, and you can see it in his eyes.
Oh yes, it's a huge change. I mean, just let me say that decision that William made was 1 year after Diana's death, and he said the only way that he could really move forward is if we stopped talking about her to the public, to outward. You know, if we think about it, that's fine, but we've just got to stop that. And Harry agreed with him, but he's found the need to talk about this endlessly now over 20 years. And I think it upsets William all the time, but because he's got a happy family, he can manage it. But it's not a good way to be, is it?
Very, very true. Very, very true. A lot has changed, certainly.
But he's changed a lot in that he was enormous fun. He had a very, very quick humour, and he could understand particularly children. They loved him. He could understand what they needed and what they felt like and what they were like instantly. And he could see the ones that needed a cuddle. He could see the ones that needed a bit of football, and he could do that. And actually, he was the only one when he went out to Africa who could who sit for a long time and look after tiny babies of 2 weeks in his hands and just go up and down with them so that they would sleep. So there you have a man with a lot of love in his heart. And I think that now he's hardened because he hasn't got what he wanted, and he feels that he's been treated very badly by his family, as we all know. But the thing about that is that go away. If you don't like your family, you can't keep on going back.
This isn't just about gossip, it's about the future of the crown. If there's even a shadow of doubt over the legitimacy of royal heirs, the monarchy must address it. Transparency is no longer optional. It's essential.
And one of the reasons why the king won't see him is because he will come in and shout and say, you know, you've got to apologize to Meghan, you've got to apologize for me, you know, it's been terrible. Well, you know, maybe they're not going to change, and you just fall out with your parents and you go off and you live, you know, by the sea with loads of bedrooms and bathrooms, and you just get on with your own family. I mean, people can do that. It's not exactly the best way to live, but if that's what you want to do, then don't go on and on and on and on and not move. And I think he should know, and all the people that he's gone to for therapy, I don't understand why they haven't helped him. My only answer to myself is that if you really don't want it in the depths of your heart, it's never going to work. You have to really want to move on, and he doesn't want to. And I think it's a shame that
he's living in the past. He's absolutely living in the past. And unfortunately, I see the rest of his life actually turning out that way, where he's always going to be wondering what if and not moving forward, because he's the one that took away his own purpose in life.
Do you believe the palace should issue a public statement about Meghan's pregnancies? Should Archie and Lilibet's place in the line of succession be clarified once and for all? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading everything. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and keep watching The Crown.